I am Liu Bang. I was born into a farmer's family in Pei County. Since childhood, I didn't like farming. Instead, I spent my days roaming around with my brothers. Others all said I was an idler who didn't do proper work. But how could they understand the lofty aspirations I held in my heart? One day, I heard that the Emperor Qin was passing through this area on his inspection tour, so I went with the crowd to watch. I saw an extremely long convoy and a lot of soldiers. At that moment, a surge of passion welled up in my chest, and I couldn't help blurting out. From that moment, I secretly made up my mind. I must achieve a great cause and let the whole world know the name Liu Bang. Later, I became the chief of Sishui Pavilion, equivalent to a police station chief today, but it allowed me to meet many heroic and aspiring people. Once I was ordered to escort convicts to Lishan. However, along the way, many convicts fled. I thought to myself, even if I manage to get to Lishan, I'll still be sentenced to death for losing the convicts. So I said to the remaining convicts, you all go, flee for your lives. Those who are willing to follow me, let's work together to accomplish a great deed. Unexpectedly, quite a few people were willing to follow me. So I took these brothers and hid in the deep mountains, waiting for the right opportunity. Before long, in Daza Township, two men took the lead in raising the banner of rebellion. They shouted out a phrase that was the most inspiring I had ever heard in my life.
往后将相，宁有种乎?
From then on, I embarked on the path of opposing the Qin dynasty. When I returned to Pei County, the townsfolk, upon hearing about my actions, were all willing to join me in rebelling against Qin. So we killed the magistrate of Pei County and officially launched the uprising there. I was 48 years old that year, and everyone called me Duke of Pei. After that, I led a large army westward, fighting bloody battles against the Qin forces. During this period, I met Zhang Liang, a man of great wisdom and strategy, and also a noble young man known as a warrior who can defeat 10,000 enemies. He and I shared the same ambition, to destroy Qin. So we swore an oath of brotherhood and became sworn brothers. When we reached Pengcheng, King Huai of Chu divided our troops into two routes. I was appointed as the commander of the Western Route Army to attack the core regions of the Qin dynasty. The other route, led by Song Yi as the chief and Xiang Yu as his deputy, marched north to rescue King Zhao. It was agreed that whoever entered Guanzhong first would be named the King of Guanzhong. I knew well that entering Guanzhong would be no easy task, but fortunately, I had advisors like Zhang Liang to assist me. We avoided the main strength of the Qin army, incorporated scattered soldiers along the way, and used clever strategies to march westward smoothly. In October of the first year of Ziying, we finally entered Guanzhong. I tore the imperial jade seal hanging from Prince Ziying's neck. At that moment, I fulfilled the dream that the people of the six former states had held for hundreds of years, and I did it in just 3 years. When I walked into the Qin palace, I was totally stunned. It's so bustling and grand here, it feels like a dream. I, Liu Bang, had started as a lowly pavilion chief in Pei County, and now here I stood in the palace of the Qin dynasty. For a moment, I was somewhat immersed in this wealth and prosperity, forgetting that the chaotic times were not yet over. Luckily, Zhang Liang reminded me, the world is not yet settled, and your great cause is not yet accomplished. The people of Guanzhong are still suffering from the tyranny of Qin. How can I indulge in pleasure first? So I made 3 fundamental rules with the people and my army. Murder leads to death, injury or theft results in punishment. People all praise me, and I well know that who wins the people's hearts wins the world. But this world could not be conquered by me, Liu Bang, alone. That fellow Xiang Yu, with his powerful army, was very dissatisfied that I had entered Guanzhong first. I had no choice but to retreat to Bashang first to avoid provoking Xiang Yu. Soon, I received an invitation from Xiang Yu to the feast at Hongmen. I knew that this trip would be fraught with danger. The atmosphere at the feast was as tense as a drawn bowstring. That old rascal Fan Zheng repeatedly signaled to Xiang Yu to kill me. My life was hanging by a thread. Thanks to Zhang Liang's brilliant plan and Fan Kuai's bravery, I managed to find a chance to escape. Though this experience was extremely dangerous, it also made me see Xiang Yu's true character clearly. He was narrow-minded and stubborn. From then on, I and Xiang Yu embarked on the struggle between Chu and Han. In terms of military strength, I was no match for him. In terms of bravery, I was also inferior. But I, Liu Bang, had one advantage. I was good at using talented people. Zhang Liang was full of wisdom and strategy, offering me advice. Han Xin was a military genius, never losing a battle. Xiao He was competent in governance, stabilizing my rear. With such talented people to assist me, why should I worry about not accomplishing my great cause? After years of bitter fighting, we finally reached the Battle of Gaixia. My Han army surrounded Xiang Yu's troops on all sides. That night, the songs of Chu were heard from all directions, throwing the Chu army into chaos. Xiang Yu, you were a hero all your life, but now you've come to your end. Watching you take your own life by the Wu River, I can't help but feel a twinge of emotion. But this world, after all, belongs to me, Liu Bang. On the third day of the second lunar month, I officially ascended to the throne as emperor in Dingtao Shandong. I was 54 years old that year, and the name of my dynasty would become the eternal name of a great nation, the Han Dynasty. Although the Chu-Han contention had ended, my journey was far from over. Next, what I had to face was how to govern this hard-won world. That would be another story full of challenges and opportunities. As for all the stories before and after this, Ziji Tongjian contains detailed and vivid records. It is like a storyteller who travels through time and space, presenting to us one by one the vicissitudes of the era when the Qin and Han dynasties alternated, and the legendary deeds of heroes. Reading Ziji Tongjian is like being in that era of clashing swords and galloping horses, breathing and sharing the fate of historical figures and gaining endless insights. Thank you all for listening to my story. And one last thing to leave you with: a person can lose 100 times, but they must win the last time.